All right, this next video is going to talk about module organization, setup, and so forth. So remember some of the Canvas best practices. One possible, teachers should post course documents and resources for students and observers to be able to access. We want to make sure that the content is chunked into manageable pieces, whether it be by modules. So you can call it modules. You can see in this example, they call it units. You may call it chapters, topics, and some people do it week by week. It's how you see your class structured and organized. There's no right or wrong reason. We just like that it is easily identified for student. If you say week 1, assignment 1, that's not very obvious to students and parents, especially if you're emailing a parent that so-and-so is missing something. Week 1, assignment 1. It's not very identifiable for a parent to notice. So be very conscious when you are naming your modules, you're naming your assignments, that a student and a parent can easily find that assignment or resource if you reference that to them. Modules and items within the module should be very descriptive. Like I said, in naming convention, don't just put chapter 1, but maybe put unit 4, electricity and magnetism, instead of just chapter 1. It's very vague. Multiple units can have a chapter 1, so it can get confusing. So be very conscious with your naming convention for students and parents. Your available module components, obviously this icon is going to represent an assignment with that written page with that pencil. You have tests and quizzes with that rocket icon. The paperclip is going to represent that a file has been attached. We have our pages, which means that there's just writing and content on it. There's not an assignment, it's just information. We have our discussions, which are represented by those speech boxes. And then that link is going to represent, there's an external tool, like I attached a link to go to a Nearpod assignment. So it lets somebody know that this is going to take me to a website outside of Canvas. All right, so we'll talk about modules before we get into importing content. So when we look at our modules, what you want to do is to, like I said, make sure that they are set up. If you're importing content, maybe the modules are already created. Modules should be linked to modules on that home page. So when a student clicks on that, it should give them access. Right now, your only modules listed are the start here. You can add to this if you want to link your My Teacher page right here. You can add in that information. It's already been created. You also have course resources that you can add any resources needed. If you want to add course resources and you want to add your syllabi there, you want to add your cell phone policy, you want to add in your Friday expectations, all of that can be in that course resources. If I'm going to create a new module, I'm going to click on this plus module button. I need to name that module. So maybe it is going to be called Module 1 Economic Basics. Okay, I can have prereqs. When I say prereqs, means that they have to complete the Start Here module before that module will unlock. So that's just up to you. If you want them to go into sequential order, you may not unpublish a module until they get to that. So it may not be something that you want. You can also lock a module. So I have all my modules out there, but I don't want it to unlock until a certain date. I don't want my students to be able to jump ahead. I can lock this module up until 2 weeks from now, what time I want it to lock till, and I'm going to add that to the module there. So this will stay locked. If I ever want to change that, I'm just going to hit edit and I can unclick that module lock. Or if we finished a module and I don't want students to go back to that module later and still try to complete work, I can lock that module out on that very last test day and they can't go back to access that content. So that's just a thing to think about. Once I have my module name created here, obviously this is if I want it published or unpublished, if I want students to be able to access that information. I can publish the module only, but it's going to leave those items in that module unpublished, and I can publish as I go, or I can publish the module and I can publish all of the items in that module. Again, it's up to you. When I want to add to this module, I hit the plus sign And like I said, multiple things that you can add that we looked at. I can add an assignment, quiz. I can upload a file, which may be a resource, a formula sheet if you're in math, or maybe in science, a lab safety sheet. It's not an assignment, but it's a file that I want them to have access to. Page is like your content. I can add videos, information, content about what I'm teaching. Like I said, that discussion post is going to be just that. Some people like text headers. Text headers are great if I'm wanting to break things out. So maybe I have a resources text header. If I add that here, you can see that resources is added. It's just a text header. Nothing's going to be there. Some people might have resources, warm up, assignments, and it just breaks this information up. So it's not a long list of things for students to be able to see. So that's what that text header is. But if I want to add in an assignment, you're going to hit create assignment, and maybe it's going to say day 1 activity, and I'm going to add that in. Once I've added that in, here you can see the name. Nothing's there yet, it's just the name. So I'm going to click on the day 1 activity, and I'm going to hit edit. This is where I'm going to type in my information. In this dialog box, this is where my directions are going to go, my expectations, what I want the students to do. I can insert a document if I want them to complete a worksheet. I can upload that document here. Where students can annotate over and then upload for the assignment. I can add in a link to a website, something that I want them to have access to. I can upload a video. I can upload an image that I want to add. I can upload like that document. I can embed a YouTube video right here if I would like. Other things that I can do, if I click on this little plug over here, this is where I can add in that studio video. I can add in a YouTube video. I can add in Canva now, and it's easily all linked together. The Safari montage video. These are plugins that I can add. If I hit the 3 ellipses at the bottom, like I said, this is my bullet point. I can add in a table. My math teachers, I can insert math equations. Again, not perfect. And I can also embed. If you have a PowerPoint and you have the embed code, I can embed that PowerPoint directly onto this page. But it's just a description of what the student is supposed to do. But if I have an assignment that I want them to do, I'm going to upload that assignment. See if I can find one real quick. I want them to do demand 1 possibly. I'm going to hit submit. I probably should have type in direction, complete, attached worksheet, whatever I want to say. Same thing as the My Teacher page, the syllabus page. I always like to click on that, and I always like to expand it out so students can see the assignment. Remember, everything has to be out of a 100 points. You're going to choose the assignment group. We have those 3 main categories. How you want them to submit it. Obviously, if I want them to turn it in, it could be something where they're just typing something in the text entry box and submitting it. Maybe I want them to upload a file. They can upload that there as well. If I let them do something by hand, I choose text entry and they type in their submitted assignment on paper, and then they turn it in that way. I always like them to do something so that they get that check mark and they know and I know that something was turned in, whether by hand or uploaded through Canvas. It's your choice. Give them limited or unlimited attempts is completely up to you. Your choice. Plagiarism review, you can turn it on and it's going to check for that plagiarism, AI, all of that fun jazz. Choose what's included, excluded. They're going to get a report immediately if it comes back with the lot has been found, taken online. I don't really use group assignments or peer reviews, up to you. You always need to check sync to Infinite Campus box so that your grade will correctly pass back. If we miss this, it's not going to pass back to Infinite Campus and they're not going to match. You always have to give it a due date. Everyone has the same due date for it to sync back. And that's the day that this grade is going to sync back with Infinite Campus. So if I want it due day 1. So I want it due on Tuesday. I'm going to add that. Maybe I'm working on it now, but I don't want them to have access to it until that Tuesday morning so that they're not working ahead of time. I'm going to post it there. The until, if I want it to lock out the very next day, because I don't want it a week later, it's only available up until this day. Once it hits that until time, that assignment locks out and they can't access it, turn it in, or whatever. I'm going to hit save and publish, and that is going to be now attached into for their assignment. All right, so that is how we complete an assignment. Like I said, there are multiple things that you can add. I can add in a quiz. You can name the quiz, decide what type of quiz that you want. I can, again, upload a file if I would like to. If I'm going to upload pages, which is what all of these videos are on, just pages. Here's content. Here's a link. I don't need you to do anything. I just want you to have this information, correct? These pages are kind of good, these Canvas resources. You can easily put that up in your main, so parents have these Canvas resources. And if I want to do an external tool like Nearpod, I will hit external tool. I can then go find Nearpod on my list, click on Nearpod, which is now going to find my Nearpod. I have to log in to get my lesson, say not now. But once I log into that, I can find what I want to teach. I want it to be student-paced, and now it's going to be added into there. So multiple things that you can do adding into your module. So kind of keep that in mind. Just be really conscious of your naming conventions to make sure that everything is clear. Utilize, indentation. So it's not one straight line for the students, that they can see, okay, here is my content. This is what I'm learning. And now based off this information, I have notes, and then maybe I have an assignment to do. Oh, here's the next content of information. Now I have, maybe some notes, or I have 2 assignments to do based off of this information. So indentation is very helpful for viewing, for a student and parent to see content, activities, assignments for said content, next content, and such activities for that. So keep that in mind when you're structuring your modules.